What up? Before I begin this video, this only applies to those that this applies to those who have broken friendships and want that back, broken relationships and could want that back. It could get it back, God knows how. God knows if it could. And this applies to those who've been in personal situations and it could be solved. However, does not apply to those who did high-end crimes such as murders, rapes, any type of shootings, or people that did a lot of bad things to the world in which it changed the world drastically. It does not apply to those people because they ain't going back from that. You could watch this, but you criminals out there that changed the world and did all the murders and all of that, there's no going back to what you did. Anyways, my name is Walter. I live in upstate New York. I'm 24 years old. I've gotten myself into a personal situation and I'm not happy about it because it impacted 50%, 100, I want to say it impacted part of my life. I'm unemployed right now because of that. But at the same time, part of it could be solved in a mature way. And I'll get into it. Later on. And I just realized that this also applies to those who have been stalking people or stalkers. I think you better watch this because I guarantee you the only way that you're gonna want to change yourself and not wind up yourself in jail is if you learn from this video right here. This is what's called Aaffm change and promise. I'm gonna repeat this one more time. Aaffm change and promise. The first A is you gotta admit. You gotta assess the situation, see what went wrong, and see who did wrong. You might have did the wrong action that broke the relationship or friendship, or they might have did wrong that broke the friendship or relationship. But regardless of who did what, they both wrong. You know why? You might have did wrong, or they could have made or let it happen. Or they could have did wrong and you let her made it happen. You never know. So like I said before, both sides is wrong. If you or the other person made what you or the other person do the horrible action, then both sides are wrong based upon the situation. That's a fact right there. So for the fact that both sides is wrong, there's no running away from that. You gotta do better than that. The next A is apologize. Now, again, you have to admit that you're wrong, and they should as well. You got to let them know that you're sorry. You got to let them know that things would be positively different. And you got to let them know that you ain't going to do what they don't like or make them think otherwise about you. And they got to say the same thing to you. Now, before you even apologize, you got to change yourself first. Because some people are out there stalking. Some people are out there doing shit that other people don't like. It's because of your actions. Your horrible actions is putting other people at risk. Whether they leave the friendship because of your actions, or whether they do something wrong, or whether they did something wrong. You get what I'm saying? You gotta change yourself. You gotta stop stalking. You gotta stop spamming people. You gotta stop doing all the unnecessary actions that you did that you did to make them feel some type of way or make them do the unnecessary action that they did. To make it short, the reason why I'm unemployed is because I was friends with this person and shit went left. Shit went left. I'm coming to find out that this person is over here spreading rumors about shit that ain't true. And I know it ain't true. And I know that they're saying it because I have a lot of proof. And I'm not going to say what they said. And I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to say names. And I'm not going to say on how I found out. But what I can say is they did it because of my actions. My actions. And I've changed. I've changed drastically. I've gone to therapy. I've listened to other people. They told me that I was the one that made that mistake. And even though it impacted me economically, friendship-wise or relationship-wise, there are ways that I could get that back. And I hope I could get that back. And it's not just this personal situation here. It's also other situations that I've been in as well. Ex-girlfriends, ex-friends, ex-best friends, other people that I was friends with, all of that. So not only do you have to apologize, but you also have to admit that you're wrong, and you got to change yourself because it's going to impact you in a way. And that right there is where the first F comes into the picture, and that is forgive. Now, before you forgive, you got to talk to the person that you was friends with or you had a situation with. You got to let them know. You got to create a plan. You got to figure out and work things out to make things feel better, to make things better. You got to work things out to keep your friendship and keep your relationship on track. You got to let them know what you could do to make them feel comfortable with you and close to you again. And they got to tell you that too. They have to tell you that too. Because that's the only way that you two are going to be equal. And you also got to know and keep in mind of the things that you should not do to not only hurt them, but to also hurt you. Because all the unnecessary actions that they could be doing, that you be doing, is also going to hurt you. Because they're not going to be doing the things that they're not going to be doing the things that you want them to do. If that makes sense. Once everything is planned and agreed, then the both sides can forgive. Now the second F is forget. Now, I hope everybody knows what this is, but there's a thing called forgive to forget. Right? If you just end up in a situation where the relationship or friendship goes left and you just forget all about it, to be honest with you, it ain't gonna be forgetting. It ain't gonna be forgotten. You know why? Because you two left on a bad note. And I don't think you want that messiness to be in your head for the rest of your life. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Because not only will it be not squashed, but it will taunt you for the rest of your life. And like I'm saying before, this is some situations. The only way that you're going to be able to forget about the situation is if you apologize, admit that you're wrong, forgive, and they got to forgive you too. And it don't matter who forgives first or who forgives last, as long as they on the same page of apologizing to each other, forgiving each other, and not only that, but also accepting what they got going on. If you're friends with a female and that female's in a relationship, you got to accept the fact that they're in a relationship. You want to be friends with them? That's fine. But you also got to accept the fact that they in a relationship. There ain't no going back whatsoever. Now the last one here. Oh wait. Okay, I'm using that. The last one here is to move on. Now, you can't move on if you ain't gonna forgive and forget. The only way you can move on is if you forgive and forget. Be friends again. See where things go. Plan some hangouts. Buy each other gifts. Joke around with each other. Make sure that you're doing the right things for one another. For one or another. Move on and do not look back at the bad things that you and the other person went through that started the situation or beef in the first place. That's the only way that you're going to be able to get your friendship or relationship back in track. You got to assess the situation, admit that you're wrong, apologize, forgive, create a plan to make things go right on track, forget about it in a positive way, and move on. The funny thing about this is a lot of people are saying forget about the situation and then move on. But like I said, in reality, you can't move on if you're not going to forgive that person and forget, because both sides is wrong. Both sides is wrong. In reality, both sides is wrong. Both sides could be wrong. You might have did the action and they might have did the action, but at the same time, what if you made that happen? And what if they made that happen? You know what I'm saying? Both sides are wrong. So there's no way that shit can't go down the drain. Unless it's a situation where there's crime-wise, and like I said before, this don't apply to any murderers, rapists, people who have been doing shootings and all that. No, it does not apply to y'all, because what y'all did is wrong. What y'all did is wrong, and it winded y'all asses up in jail, and there ain't no going back from that. It only applies to those who are friends, who have broken friendships and wants to repair that again. Relationship wise, that could be back on track. But most times, if you want to be cool with somebody and all that, it all got to start with friendship. It's the only way that you're gonna be able to go around about that. But they ain't no forget and move on. No, you gotta forgive and forget and move on. All right, because there's no way you're gonna forget and move on if you don't forgive and make sure that you're on the right track with one another. And it's not only that, you also gotta change yourself, because you could be doing stupid shit that they don't like, and they might have let it happen. You know what I mean? Or it could even be better. They did something bad, and you did something bad. God knows who did what first, but regardless of that, both sides is wrong. So in my opinion, no friendship or relationship can go down the drain. I can tell you this. A lot of friendships, they tend to say, no matter what happens to us, I will always be there for you and I will always be your friend. A lot of people, they tend to say that. So they got to keep it that way. But they ain't going to keep it that way if the friendship, if you guys are if you're in situations and the next thing you know, whatever you got goes down the drain. It ain't going to happen. You got to do the Aaffm, AAFM change and promise. You got to do that AAFM change and promise. Oh God, the AAFM change and promise. That's the only way to repair your friendship, prepare your relationship, and move on from situations in a positive way, if that makes sense. Aaffm, change and promise. Now with all of this, you got to keep that promise to yourself, because you're not only promising the other person, you also got to promise yourself too, because you would want to have a better life. You would want to have friends, even though there's a thing called friends comes and go. Friends comes and go. This could also apply to family too, because there are a lot of family members that did dirty from one another, and that right there, you can't leave your family like that. For personal situations that could not be solved unless it's high-end crimes. For a family member to be getting into it with another family member, you guys end up in a situation, and the next thing you know, you guys ain't talking to each other no more, or they don't want you in your life no more. No, it ain't gonna go down like that. You can't do that. Unless it's, like I said, unless it's high-end crimes, it ain't gonna go down like that. Hell no. Not letting that shit happen. Aaffm, change and promise. This doesn't also apply to friendship and relationships. This also applies to a lot of families, because a lot of families, they like to do shit dirty. They like to do a lot of dirty shit, a lot of bad shit, and it ain't gonna go that way. It's not. It's not worth it. It's not worth doing the bad, because at the end of the day, your family is family. Family is family, and they always gonna be there for you no matter what. No matter what happens to you, whether you're in a disaster or whether you're in danger and all that, they're gonna be there for you to support you. This challenge right here, the Aaffm, change and promise, not only applies to friendships and relationships, this also applies to family too. And I know this whole time I was talking about friendships and relationships, but I just realized that this also applies to family. So like I said, the only way to fix your relationship with your family, or fix your relationship with your lovers, or fix your friendships with another, is to admit that you're wrong and accept what they got going on. Understand that you both are wrong. Apologize and admit that you're wrong. Let them know that things will be different in a good way, and let them know that you ain't gonna be doing no bullshit that's gonna be making them think otherwise. Also, you also gotta forgive, create a plan, figure out how to make shit better. Let them know what you could do to make them feel comfortable with you and close to you again. And you got to keep that to yourself too. And also keep in mind of the things that you should not do to not only hurt them, but hurt you as well. Then you forgive. Forget about the situation after all is forgiven. Then you move on and do all of that. I hope everybody is watching this video, because at the end of the day, there's going to be some times where you've been in situations, and the next thing you know, New Year's comes, so they don't want to end the year with bad friendships or bad relationships, none of all of that. There's a lot of kids in high schools that's going to be graduating. You can't graduate with people that you have, with classmates that you have beef with. You can't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I even told a couple of people this. I actually remember this. This boy in high school came up to me and told me that he was sorry for everything that he's been doing to me. He's been doing a lot of harassing. He's been doing a lot of exposings and all that. I'm not saying it on here, but he did apologize to me for everything. He owned up to what he did, and he told me, and we both graduated with positive sides, happiness, happiness, and all of that. And we did not look back. You know why? Because that was negative. That was negative stuff right there. That was negative stuff right there. And it's not worth it. It's not worth looking back at the bad things that happened to you. It's not worth looking back at the bad things that you and the other person went through that started the beef, and that's positively, forgivingly solved. Forgivingly solved. You just gotta admit, apologize, forgive, forget, and move on. Do all that. And to those who are able to forget and move on and not forgive the other person, I'm actually surprised at you. Because some people, for a fact, cannot live without other people in their lives, if that makes sense. They can't live without their family in their lives. They cannot live without good friends in their lives, even though without good people as a friend or as a boyfriend or as a girlfriend in their lives. They can't live without anything that could get them to get their lives back on track. %50 of that shit happens. And it's not good. It's not good. So like I said, follow the AA, F, and M change and promise challenge. Well, not challenge, but follow the AA, F, M change and promise. Follow it. Because at the end of the day, that's the only way to make your life feel good. It's going to make yourself feel good. It's going to make the other person feel good. This concludes this message. AA, FM, change and promise. A few things before I go. Number one, even though I'm trying to help myself repair a friendship with somebody that I was really close with and that was really there for me, I'm doing the best I can to try and get that back. But to those who are also in broken friendships and broken relationships with a relative or anybody that you was with, if you need help, you can contact me through social media. And to those who I've had bad blood with, or that used to be there for me, or to those who did me dirty, or to those that I did dirty, I'm allowing you guys to contact me through social media. And if you have my number, you can text me there. I'm not gonna give my number out, but my social media is Snapchat Walter 2017. And my Instagram is WALTIEZEEY. Thank you.